Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Starseed Immersion podcast. I am here with the most amazing Alysa Rushton today. Alyssa's story is nothing short of miraculous. After overdosing on 28 prescription medications and doctors saying that she needed to survive, she returned transformed in a near-death to divine remembrance experience. She shed over 120 pounds, healed her body, and brought back advanced energetic wisdom and DNA activations from the other side. Today, Alyssa empowers light leaders across the globe to awaken in their inner healer, activate their multidimensional potential, and embody the frequencies of unconditional love and unity consciousness. And she is here to help humanity rise and co-create the new earth. So thank you so much for being here, Alyssa. I can't wait to dive into a little bit about your personal story and what you experienced and from the other side.
Oh, well, I'm so glad. Thank you for having me, Nikki. And I love your audience. You guys are so incredible, so awakened. So I can't wait for this conversation that we're about to dive into.
Yes. Well, I would love to begin with a little bit of your background story. Um, what happened like through the experience and did you see anything when you had that experience, the near-death experience?
Yeah. So I did actually die and crossed over to the other side, which was actually incredible and led me to understand that you can't actually die before it's your time. And now I've done enough speaking with other near death survivors that I really do have this belief. So the good news is you're not going to die before it's your time ever. And the other thing to know about dying is it's really amazing. So I don't recommend doing it until you're ready, but it is truly an incredible process that I apparently needed the hard way to awaken. And at the time, I was so sick. I was um, a body filled with viruses. And I was told, oh, you need all these medications and things to fix you and heal you. And my body just didn't like that stuff. And so on the other side, though, it was like a total reboot, a total renewal. And what was incredible about it is I got to see, as I got out of my body, I got to see how all of this that you call Earth has been created and that we can really truly craft our reality and we don't necessarily have to play out some of the things that we're playing out, though we do still inhabit these physical 3D bodies. um, what I saw up there was that we have a lot more control, and bringing through divine presence, divine essence into the body is the most important thing. So while I was there, among the many things I saw, like I was at one point in God consciousness and I could see and feel every single thing's presence. So think your countertop, think you, me, everybody. I could feel everything's presence, both here on planet Earth and elsewhere. And as I was having that experience, the one thing I thought was, I wish they knew they were God. Like, I wish they knew they were God. I wish they knew they were me, because over there, I wasn't Alyssa anymore. I completely lost my whole Alyssa identity for a time. And so it was this really fascinating blend of like being able to experience and see all of these beings at once as God. And the thing I think is the most important to remember is it's like it acts like a feedback loop. So your experience that you're having feeds back into a loop of God consciousness. And if you let it, God consciousness, divine consciousness, universal consciousness, whatever you want to call it, can feed back into your experience. But what happens on the other side is a lot of people have been blocked off basically from incorporating that into their everyday experience because of all of the things that happen here on earth, programming first and foremost. And so one of the big things I understood on the other side was our programming as a human has been, and you guys already know this, so cut off from our star-seeded origins because you come from this vast galaxies, right? You are made literally up of stardust. And the training here on earth wasn't that. It wasn't connecting you to your divine origins. And so I think that's really hard for people. And we're finally, thank God, Nikki, we're finally starting to break out of that. And we're waking up to the fact that, oh my gosh, we're way more than just a human being. In fact, on the other side, I learned a whole bunch of stuff. Like we have this DNA that's, if you've ever done a 23andMe DNA reading where it says like, oh, you're Jewish and you're part this and you're part that. Okay. I've not ever done that, but I have had friends have that. Well, what the DNA really is it's beyond that. It's like, oh, you're Angel, you're Syrian, you're Lyran, you're Arcturian. Like it's like so much of that cosmic DNA. But ultimately, what I saw on the other side is that you are actually all of it. You're actually all of it. It doesn't happen that you're just this compartmentalized being. You are all of it at some point. Like when you pass out of your body, you will go back up into wholeness consciousness where there is no separation and everything's happening all at once. So there is no time differential. It literally is happening all in the now. I don't know if I've answered your question at all, but I'm going to stop talking.
Yes, you did. And when you saw all of this, I mean, when you, I guess, detached from your identity as Alyssa, was it different coming back? Like, did you remember that experience when you came back?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. It was very different coming back. So, on the other side, when you're in God consciousness, you basically feel amazing. It's incredible. You don't, I always say it's the most physical thing I've ever done without a body because it's very physical on the other side. You can stretch and move. You're just moving a light body. You're moving consciousness. You're not moving a physical construct. Okay. So, when I came back, and the paramedics revived me, it literally felt like I got dropped off 1,000-story building and just slammed into my body. It was so heavy and so dense. And I also think that's something that's really important to remember as star seeds is that we're in a dense environment that you're not really used to. And it feels heavy and it feels hard. And that's kind of the purpose of it, right? It's the purpose of the journey. It's just like if you were to go diving, and so I live here in Hawaii, and if you were to go diving down, the purpose of diving down is to see beauty and experience beauty, but it's heavier, it's hard. You got to clear your ears because you got all this pressure on you. So, and you might even need a different suit to go down deep, right? You're going to need more thick instead of a 3 millimeter, you're going to need a 5 or even a 10 millimeter suit. So we have these beautiful suits that we inhabit that allow us to be in this level of density. And I think that can be a really hard thing for starseed because they're so used to that high frequency. And the difference is, so how do I say this? Because of the time that you were born on planet Earth, you have a lot more access to information. You're way more advanced than somebody even my age. Or take somebody that's my mom's age. My mom's 83. You're way more advanced than somebody that's older than you. And it's because you are a more advanced soul coming through with more coding in your system to inhabit the body. But a lot of times it can feel really hard, feel really tough at times to be this advanced being, lumbering around in third density reality, trying to figure out how to use your skills. And the skills don't work. Just like here's the diving analogy. If you were to dive down in the water, you don't work the same way down there as you do here. Everything's a little more clumsy down there, right? So, and you just know that. And you can't just shoot up to the top of the surface. You got to take your time getting there. So that's how it feels for starseeds coming down here because you guys are used to instantaneous creation. You're used to, I think a thought and then it happens. I feel a feeling and then it's manifest. Whereas down here, there is a time differential because other folks really do need that. So yeah, it can feel a little struggly to be that far advanced, but to be in a place where it's not accepted yet energetically.
Mm. Have you noticed, and this just kind of came into my thought because this is something that I'm personally going through now as well, is that um, I didn't realize that I had like neurodivergence, and I'm hearing a lot in the Starseed community as well that this is on the rise. There's a lot of like neurodivergent, even with the telepathy tapes coming out and telepathic communication. Do you feel that is like the wiring of a multidimensional being in the human body, or it's just something different, like maybe we're wired differently and it's not meant for the human body?
That's a great question. And here's what I will say. Earth is a beliefs based reality. Number one, you live in a belief space. Okay. So your beliefs that you have about anything are going to directly inform your experience here. On the other side, it looks more like a hologram here than it does like a real experience. So to answer your question, I think a couple of things in this reality that is more like a game and not all that real. Because when you pass out of it, this doesn't seem real anymore.
Yeah.
When you leave the body, it's like, oh my God, that wasn't real at all. That was just a game. Right? Like I made a lot of cool stuff up to teach myself a lot of cool things. So I think in this game-based reality, one thing that could be true is that the human species is evolving. Now, that said, have we always had neurodivergence? Yes. Are we having more instances of it? Or is it just more understood? That I really don't know. Like, that's really not my forte or expertise. I tend to think that a lot of things play into that neurodivergence as well, in terms of like what your parents ate and how conscious they were when they birthed you as a child. I think a lot of that can tend to play into stuff. I recently spoke at a conference with Diane with the telepathy tapes. And what I notice is there are a lot more kids that have neurodivergence, autism scale, that kind of stuff. I suspect that's through a lot of chemicals and unfortunate things that we've done to humans. So I don't know, to answer your question. I don't really know. There's a lot of unknowns about it. I think you asked, were we not meant to be human or something like that? And what I would say is, you're very much meant to be human, or else you wouldn't be here. You would not be here on the planet if you didn't first and foremost make a choice to come and say, I'm going to be here and a human. And really, what I learned on the other side is this is a school for you to learn things. And sometimes we learn things through really hard things.
Yeah.
And Earth is a fabulous, fabulous school for that.
Yes. Well, thank you for sharing your perspective on that. It wasn't necessarily were we not meant to be human, because I do believe we are here in the human experience to be human, but even your perspective on perhaps the chemicals altering our experience because we embody a human body, we are, I don't know, like still accounting for like the chemicals and the things that are in the human body. So that leads to almost like your experience of healing your body from the medications. Like, what can you share about that and your understanding of is even our human body a hologram and the things that we consume is not, we can transcend beyond that or um I don't know, recalibrate our energy field to be the new human?
Yeah. So I'm all about the new human. I call it the divine human.
Yes.
And so yeah, the answer is yes and no. So if you think about like what a true hologram is, it's just light being moved very fast. Okay, that's all a hologram is. It's light being moved very fast. So there is no matter in a true, what we know as to be a true hologram. You could put your hand right through it. So what I saw about the hologram of Earth is it is light moving very fast, but it's also matter. There's also some matter to it. And so when you understand that, yes, it is light and it is also matter, you can't put your hand through the body right now. So that said, to your question, well, can we just like transcend these chemicals on the planet? I don't really think so. Like you can drink Diet Coke all day long and tell yourself it's amazing, pure water. I haven't really seen anybody be super successful with that.
Yeah.
I think maybe consciousness will get to the place where that can be, but I just haven't seen it yet. So I personally had to change everything for my body to hold more light. Like if you look at pictures of my before and after, you will see a vast difference in what I look like and my skin's radiance. Like I literally have a lot of radiance in my skin now. And that's because I do things very differently and I eat and sustain myself as a light being. And obviously, I released a lot of weight. I released over 120 pounds. But, and for example, today I'm doing a water fast. So I do certain practices that allow my frequency to stabilize so that my body does not feel as dense, so that my body doesn't have as much inflammation. Our bodies actually are really designed to heal themselves. If you cut yourself, your body will heal, or if you break a bone, your body will heal itself. But most of the reasons why we don't heal is because we don't know how to do that. As human beings, we're not taught how to actually heal the body. So, sound frequency is a beautiful way to heal the body. It basically reorganizes the photons inside your body, it reorganizes the cells and the genetic expressions, and light. And then also doing practices like fasting, where your body literally goes into a state of having to eat all of the non-relevant organisms in your body that don't work for your highest good. So your body knows what those are and aren't, and will go and eat all the viruses, all the bacteria, all the tumors. I just read a research was it yesterday, I think, where a man had a blocked artery and they put him on an extended water cleanse and he did not have to have the bypass surgery because all of that went away.
Whoa.
So the fact that we can shift our bodies is really profound. And it's one of the things as star seeds that we have to remember, like we have access to other vibrational tools and healing methods that can help us. And yet, if we have a thick coat on us, we're not going to feel it as well. We're not going to feel as good. So kind of the same thing, we have to raise ourselves up. If we were in the ocean with that 10 millimeter suit on, we'd have to raise ourselves up, take off the suit to feel the sunshine,
Mhm.
right? And so one of the things I notice as starseeds, like a lot of us, we're doing drugs or alcohol, not eating very well, and that's going to affect our body in such an extreme way that we might not really even understand. I personally was on a lot of antidepressants because I was so depressed and I didn't like my life. And I had to work through all of that. It wasn't a lack of antidepressants that I was having, it was the fact that I didn't have good chemistry and good conductivity. Even something like making sure that you have proper electrolytes can make a huge difference. It's one of the things I teach in my Divine Light Energy Healers Academy. Just boosting your electrolytes will make your cells more conductive, and then you can have more conductivity to the universe, to your soul tribe, to your beautiful galactic beings. And then you'll get really great guidance and intuitions, and your life can just flow like magic. So, yes, I think food matters.
Yes, okay. That clears a lot of things because we are in this human body. We are in this physical body. You had mentioned your academy and then also the new role of Starseeds, and I'm very curious about what that means.
Yes. Okay. Well, let's have a frank conversation, you guys, about the new human. But I want to base this in what the old human was. So if you look back over the last 4,000 or 6,000 years, the old human was me, mine, what can I get? How much of that can I get? How many people might I need to kill to get it? It was also, I might be killed. How little do I have? How can I survive? So it was a lot of what I call victim victor energy. It was a lot of struggle and survival. And we are now making it's when I look at it energetically, it's about a 70 to 100-year cycle of evolution where we pop out of all of that and you literally become a new human. And the new human is a sovereign human. You are a sovereign being. And so you don't look to somebody outside of you to tell you what you think, what you believe, how your life works. You literally are a sovereign being. Now, a big piece of that is knowing how to navigate your nervous system. If you're triggered by every other thing, if you're struggling with human interactions, that's what this time right now is helping you learn is nervous system regulation so that you can be a sovereign being in a oneness field. So a oneness field is where all beings understand that we're all basically the same thing and that we're all of divine. Even this rock is divine. Even my crystal bowl is divine. It's divine substance. It's all divine substance. Heck, even your cell phone or the computer that you're on right now is divine substance. It's photons, it's matter. So the new human is all about recognizing that every single thing that you look at and see in your world is divine, and being able to work with that consciousness and that substance. In the past, we didn't work with divine consciousness. We thought we were very separate from everything. And we even needed people outside of us to heal ourselves or to absolve us from our, mistakes in life. And now we're coming to a place where we are finally starting to understand that that is a direct connection that happens between us and the universe. And that the more we're directly connected, the more our life flows. But in order to be connected, like your cell phone, if you put your cell phone in a steel cage or a concrete cage, it will not be able to make the connection to a cell tower. So your physical body is wired very similarly to a cell phone and a cell tower in that you both transmit and you receive data. But if you are in fear and doubt and worry, and if you are eating a bunch of garbage, okay, you are not going to be able to transmit and receive data very well. And the data that you're now having is from everything because you're divine and so is everything else. So you can talk to a plant and get it to be a little healthier. You can talk to the universe and get direct downloads. You can get technologies that are going to help heal your body. I live here in Lumeria, aka the big island of Hawaii. And I remember when I came here to Hawaii, I had to clean up my diet even more than it already was because it was pretty clean, but I had to clean it even more. I then started getting contact from these beautiful Pleiadian and Syrian beings that would come and like sit around my bed and help to recode my body, and heal my body with all this rainbow light. They would literally come in and be like, okay, we're going to blast everything out. And here's all the rainbows you need. And so, all of that to say that the new human is going to be having these experiences that transcend the bonds of our 3D, third dimension, watching the news, watching the TV to tell us what we believe. And instead, we're coming back into we're a divine creator in physical form. You are a divine being, and you alone get to create what I'm calling the heaven on earth frequency. It's the paradise on earth frequency. We used to, in Lemurian times and even in Atlantean times, lived in more of a heaven on earth, paradise on earth frequency. And then all that got shut down and went away, but we're finally coming back to it. And it is a beautiful, beautiful cycle of awakening that, oh, I couldn't be more excited about, but it does require us to have a balanced nervous system so we're not so reactive to everything we're seeing and perceiving, because a lot of that stuff is fake and it's designed. When I say fake, I don't mean it doesn't happen. I just mean it's designed to get your nervous system into a certain pattern. So, part of our work is to get our nervous system into a balanced, peaceful transmission where we're holding and transmitting more love, more, unity consciousness, more joy, more acceptance, more forgiveness frequencies. And once we have enough people doing that, I suspect it's going to be, you're not going to like the answer. I suspect it's going to take us longer than we think. It's not going to just happen overnight. It's about a 70-year cycle of evolution, but it started, and here's the good news, it started back in around the year 2000 and really started to amp up in 2012, started to amp up again in 2015, again in 2017, again in 2019. So we've had these big blasts. And then, as you know, the last since 2020, it has been off the charts of trying to drive us forward in terms of our evolution and what we can hold as divine humans.
Yes, I've been hearing a lot, even from like human design systems, those systems that were channeled. 2027 is a big shift to emotional intelligence. Um, I'm wondering if you intuitively or intuited anything about that, about what's happening in 2027 in regards to our shift.
Yes. Well, let me couch that in what has been happening. So when I died and I kind of saw what was going to happen, I always called the year 2020 through 2027 like the sandwich years where the most extreme pressure was put on humanity. And then 2024 through 2026 is like even more extreme pressure. And so I definitely feel like we're making a shift out of this old structure, out of the old way we handle our emotions. I can already feel it's getting better for myself personally.
Yes.
So I feel like, yes, it's coming. That said, here's, I think, the most important thing to remember. When you hear predictions, when you hear things about the grand solar flash, when you hear like, oh, in this year, it's just going to be better, that's part of what keeps you constrained in the matrix. So, what you would want to do instead is you would want to drop into the present moment, which is where your entire reality is created. Your reality is not created in 2027. We have to stop the mind trap of thinking, well, it's going to get better then. So, what we would want to do instead is drop into the fifth dimensional portal of your heart in the now moment And we would want to start being that frequency for ourselves now. Just like your cell phone, you have a dynamic energetic field. So, what I saw on the other side was your DNA and how it works is encoded and it transmits and sends frequencies. So, if you are, it's like a little mini cell tower. If you are thinking, well, I'm just going to wait for things to get better until 2027, guess what? Your life's still not going to be all that fun for you. But if you go into the portal of your heart and you start producing the frequency of, I have emotional mastery now, then what will happen is in your radius field of your ball of your world, you will start to notice people in your field, which by the way are a reflection of you, they will start to have more emotional mastery. Okay. So the reflection bubble that you get in your reality is based on your DNA. Your DNA holds what you believe to be true about the reality. You will reflect to yourself what you believe to be true. So if you believe to be true that people aren't very emotionally mature and that it's going to wait till 2027 for that to happen, that is what you'll experience and probably even beyond 2027. But if right now you start installing the coding of people in my world are really emotionally mature. They are masters at regulating their nervous system, and that's what you choose to expect about reality. That is what you'll encounter, and you'll do it right now.
Oh, I love that. The embodiment in the present moment is what shifts your reality.
Exactly. Like, and that's the biggest key to everything. Embodiment in the present moment is the key to shifting everything. Because if you are still in the trap, and that's the 3D trap, waiting for something on the outside of you to make it happen, this ascension process is an inside job. It's an inside job, which means it doesn't happen on the outside of you. So the more you're waiting for something on the outside of you to happen, you still, it's like this. I just keep spinning around, right? I don't, if I'm chasing, I keep, no matter how far I spin, I'm still chasing, right? So instead, you want to ask yourself, well, what would it feel like for me to feel that feeling and cultivate that feeling now? And then, just like a cell tower or a cell phone, the more you broadcast that feeling, you activate others because we have mirror neurons. So the more you are in your radiance codes of broadcasting love and light and oneness, unity, consciousness, the more you start to activate the other people around you, and then your reality really changes. And I see this all the time in my world, in the world of my clients. You know, I've had clients who just cannot get along with their mom or their dad, and they're always having problems. And oh, they think I'm crazy. And oh, la, 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 la. Well, guess what? When they go inside and do the work within their DNA and their body, because your DNA is what's producing all of that which you see.
Mhm.
Okay. It's generating everything that you see. And it's the reason why I see this all the time, Nikki. Two couples will come to Hawaii. One is having an amazing experience. Oh, it's just magic and miracles every step of the way. And the other couple staying in the exact same hotel, exact same spot, is on a crap show. Like they are having the worst time. Their food is horrible. The service is terrible. Two couples, two totally different experiences. It's because of the frequency and the code that's embedded in their DNA. One couple believes life is amazing and everything's always working out for me. And the other couple believes, like, oh, this isn't good enough and I'm not getting what I need.
Mhm.
Right. So when you understand that you can change that code within yourself, your reality field will get different.
Mm. There's one part of it that always perplexes me is the difference between how do you know it's excitement versus how do you know it's fear? And sometimes, like for me, I'm like, you, because you believe in it or because you embody it, you act upon it, and that reflects back. I don't know, like that reflects back to yourself and to the universe that you are embodied in your belief of it, even if you feel the fear?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I heard a question in there, but I would assert that fear is not a bad thing. Like there's not a bad thing about feeling fear. The what you don't want to do is let fear drive your car, right? Like it's okay. Look, if you're going to go jump out of an airplane, you're going to feel fear with that. It's purposeful. It's for a reason. The secret is holding the fear and saying, fear, I love you. As divine consciousness, I've got you. We're good. We're good. And working and allowing yourself to hold the very human emotion. So I think part of this is like recognizing that we have very human emotions. We have them for a reason. You actually need fear to make sure that you don't walk out in traffic or do something stupid and then your character dies, right? You need the fear. But how do we work with it in a conscious way is the difference. That's the rub. So to your point, if I were working with a client, it wouldn't be about getting them to even stop feeling the fear. It would be about getting them to hold the fear like they would hold like a little baby child and hold that fear and say, I love you. I've got you. My now consciousness has you. And then it would be to tune in. Is there something else we need to know before we can take this next action? Is there something we can do for you to feel comfortable? Or is this just a really bad plan? Like, should I not jump off this building? Okay, yes, I should not jump off this building. Or maybe no, I don't walk this close to the edge of something, right? So we have to have a process of working with our harder to feel human emotions. And that's really, I think, one of the biggest keys to having that regulated nervous system is a lot of people think like, oh, I shouldn't feel that feeling.
Mhm.
No, you have to feel the feeling. You got to feel it, but it's only about a 90-second process. And all you have to do, I teach this in the academy, is doing this thing called baby cradle arms. And you just put the hard to feel emotion in your arms like you would a small baby. And you just love on it. And you say, it's safe for you here. Because the number one thing that I work on with clients and students is installing safety drivers in the body so that the body and the intellect feels safe to be here and feels safe to do things, because the program has been unsafety for so long. And there's a lot of reprogramming, right? Like sometimes we have to reprogram the computer. And what we do in computer programming is we take out the old code, but we have to add in the new code too. So that's what we're in the process of doing as humans right now. We're in the process of, from an evolutionary standpoint, taking out the old fear, trauma drivers, survival drivers, and we're installing divine DNA coding that activates your multidimensional gifts and skills and talents and communication abilities. And I really think, I don't know if we'll see it before 2030, but I think you'll start to see people like being able to throw lights out of their hands and like levitate and do some of these things. I actually do think you will start to see it. It's kind of like, this is well before everybody here's time, including my own, but Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile. And before that, no one could do it. No one could break that 4-minute mile. And then he did it. I think it was in 1954, maybe 52. And then all of a sudden, everybody started breaking the 4-minute mile. It was a whole thing. It's the 100th monkey effect. So we're just in the process of getting some of these new skills more tangibly in our body. But I really start to think that around 2030, you're going to see more people have these skills. It's an everyday event where telepathy is the way of it. In fact, it's a skill that every tribal person from eons back has always had. They've always had telepathy. My great grandfather told a story about going to Africa and the train broke down. And this is before modern communication, and they were needing to use a telegraph, but they didn't have one even back then. They just had like, the train is either there or it's not. And his guide said, well, don't worry, we'll tell the tribe to meet us 3 days in advance from now. And he said, how will you do that? And he's like, I'm just gonna beam it over. I don't think he used the word beam it, but they were met exactly to the minute that the guy said that they would be there by this tribes that were coming to meet the train. And that's because we've always had telepathy. We've always had these skills. We have just been mentally programmed out of them. And if you remember back to what I said, this is a beliefs base of reality. Whatever you believe to be true about reality is what you'll experience. So the more you believe, like, yes, I'm a divine being of light. Yes, I have access to all this intron potential within my DNA. The intron potential, by the way, is what they tell you is your junk DNA. But now scientists have a whole different name for it. It's called intron potential. And it actually tells and signals your DNA, if you're conscious and you talk to it, how your genes express and what you can do and what you're capable of. It's literally the God code within our DNA sequence that nobody's been working with because everybody's thought it's junk.
Oh, wow. And then, I mean, the whole part of nurture versus nature as well, do you feel like the expression of the DNA can come online as long as we activate it, or we have to be in an environment that will allow us to express it?
What a great question. I love that you asked that. So, you guys know that right now the Schumann resonance has just been doing a lot. You know that we're getting a lot of CMEs, coronal mass ejections, for the solar codes coming down, the neutrinos and the photonic light coming down. So, I think that right now it's both. I think those of us who are open and tapped in and ready, I think we're getting it first as sort of first responders would. You know, we've got the suits on, right? Um, I think ultimately this DNA activation that I see happening with respect to the solar aspects of it, because you can also activate DNA just by your words too. But the solar light codes that are coming in activating us, I do think you have to have some level of readiness or willingness. I do think that your environment is a part of that. And I also know that at soul level, it's like a mixed grade here. So at soul level, we have anywhere from toddlers to PhD levels, all in the same classroom right now of Earth. Does that make sense? So, like, it's a mixed classroom and we're all interacting with each other. And that can feel really difficult. But I say that to say that not everybody in this lifetime is maybe going to be on the same learning curve and pathway and trajectory. So it's kind of like giving people a bit of a break, but also at the same time, making sure that we don't count anybody out. Because if you would have looked at me back in 2005 before I had my near death experience, you would have said, Alyssa's never going to wake up. She's going to die this way. That's just going to be the way of it. And so I always like to say, like, everybody can, we don't want to count anybody out. And the more we view somebody as being able, the more you change in the quantum field, because what you see in reality is literally changed by how you're seeing it. We know this in quantum science. Like, you can literally change something from living to dead based on how you see it. That's called the Schrodinger's cat experiment. And so when we know that, then we know how we view this, whatever you want to call it, life, world, holographic field, how we view it also changes how it behaves. So the guidance would be to know that, yes, we're getting a lot of support with the light codes. Yes, we're getting a lot of support with the planet. Yes, we're evolving, and don't count anybody out, even though it may not look like they're doing it.
Mm. Um, Does this align with, for example, their divine timing? That's been a word that I've been hearing a lot, that we do have divine timing based on the universal principles of how the universe works, or the universal laws of how universe works. So, just like you said, we can't just go from this to this overnight. It's a progressive experience, that we also have encoded within our soul journey when these like opportunities of awakening would happen.
I don't know if I fully heard the question in there, but what I think is that divine timing is really intricate
Mm,
because the question comes as if there's just only one world that we're dealing with, when really we have infinite worlds running all at once, infinite possibilities running all at once. So, yes, there is an aspect of divine timing to some extent on this timeline that you're running right now.
mhm,
But there's also at the same time of now a version of you that's running a totally different timeline. So you could also pop up over into that timeline. Let me give you an example. Somebody gets diagnosed with a really bad disease. On the timeline that they're on, they might have to go through all of these treatments and all of these things and all of these programs. Okay. And that's going to stretch them out on a really long timeline of healing. Or they could quantum jump what they believe is possible and say, oh my gosh, I'm just going to heal this in my body, which, by the way, I've done this with many clients, is that they just make a different decision. Like, nope, I'm going to heal this. It's going to be like a weird quantum rift and reality. And then they go, same doctor, different day. Oh, we don't know what happened to that lump that was there. It's gone now. Right. So, to your point, there is divine timing and it's timeline based. So, you, though, get to determine the timeline that you're on. And at any given time, if you don't like that timeline, you can jump it. You don't have to stay on the long, hard path. You get to determine that within your body and your mind basically determine that. So it's timing is a very interesting thing. And if something's not working out or something's not happening, then you have to really back up and take a look at, well, why is that? Because there are infinite versions of you that already have the thing already right in the now moment. It's the thing on the other side, it's all happening in the now. There isn't any time. So, yes, divine timing, but it's all happening in the now. So, if you want to pop out of the reality that has unfortunate divine timing, you can.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. Yes, yes, yes. I remember asking somebody who did like psychic readings, and she was saying the same thing that if you heal the belief, then you would get like a lot of people ask, like, when will I get, my divine love, right? My soulmate. And she can see the timelines and say, well, that timeline exists, but you have to do the inner work to be on that timeline. But when they call for the psychic reading, they just want to hear the good news, but they don't do the inner work. And then they call back disappointed as to why it didn't happen. So it really is the inner work that when we do the inner work, that's how we shift the timeline and the experience that we're having.
Yeah, the most important thing, I should draw this for you on my iPad. The most important thing to remember is nothing outside of you is going to change. It is all an inside job. Like you can still kind of keep meeting up against reality again and again and again, but it's encoded in your DNA and you can change those codes. You can change those. And by the way, beliefs and emotions are encoded in your DNA. That's where they're stored, is
Uh,
in DNA sequence. And then that DNA basically projects out. I want you to think about how a baby is formed. Mom and dad come together, and that embryo gets implanted, right, with dad's DNA. And then it makes 4 cells. And then it makes 8 cells. And then it makes 16 cells. And they start replicating and replicating and replicating. So the DNA in your body replicates and it makes your body. The DNA tells your body how big or tall or small to be, how, brown your eyes are or how blue your eyes are, how dark your hair or light your hair is. The DNA does all of that. But the DNA, and this is what people don't yet understand, and I'm hopeful that people will understand it after they hear that, is the DNA is basically got you in a bubble. everything you see in what I call your reality bubble is coming directly from your DNA programs. What you believe to be true about reality, what your parents believed to be true about reality, what their parents believed to be true about reality. So it's a two-way job right now. We're having to change our inner beliefs. The universe is trying to support us with some extra light codes, trying to upgrade our system. Like, come on, you guys, you can do it. I know you can remember your galactic beings, right? But we also have to shift some of those things inside of ourselves. It's the biggest part of the process. I hear so many people like, oh, I'm waiting for the grand solar flash. It's like, no, that happens inside of you. You are the grand solar flash.
Well, you know what? I'm waiting on a response for my for the approval for my HOA. So if I just believe that they'll get back to me ASAP, that would be my reality.
That's right. And you also might have some other stuff in there to deal with, right? Like you know, it's not always just if I believe this, then it will happen.
Yeah.
And we know that from life. Like we've had some good beliefs. So remember that we're in a soup of 8 billion other people, and our reality bubbles intermingle. Right. So it's generated from us, but they can also come over your reality bubble. So have you ever had a time when you're feeling really great and you come into somebody else's reality bubble and then you don't feel so great? Or you don't have a good experience? Like you go out to a lunch with a friend who's always complaining about how bad the food is, but you're at your favorite restaurant and all of a sudden the food comes out and it's bad because she's complaining about it. So that's also the thing to remember is everything that's generated in your reality is your reality, but they intermingle, right? Just like if we could pour one drop of water into a cup, it's just a singular experience. But if we poured a whole drops of water, everybody's drop is intermingling now. So that's part of what's going on is we're living in this intermingled, intertwined, reality where we're trying to really shift. So it takes a little while for it to filter out and filter through.
Wow. Well, thank you, Alyssa, for sharing such relatable examples as well. Presenting a beautiful picture of how things are working in our reality. I would love to invite you to the experiential portion of the podcast. You had an activation for us. Would you share a little bit about what that is, or if it's just an intuitively guided one?
Yeah, I'm going to do an intuitively guided DNA activation sequence for the people that are listening here. So I just want to let you just relax for a second and close down your eyes, if you will. Obviously, if you're driving, don't close down your eyes. And this activation is going to bring you more into divine creator mode. So I'm just going to use a little sound. Sound is one of the best things to shift your DNA really, really fast. So here we go. Take a nice deep breath. And all you're going to do is you're just going to set your intention to receive all of the frequencies, all of the codes, all of the updates in your physical body right now. Just saying an internal yes. And you're going to set your intention to releasing all of those old human outdated programs based in scarcity, lack, fear, misunderstanding one another. And you're going to just set an internal yes. I'm ready to release those with a lot of ease and peace. And on the bottoms of your feet are energetic portals. So you're going to imagine with me now that you're just opening up those portals. And we're just going to run a decode frequency in and through your body. Just allowing this dissolving, speaking directly now to your DNA. And you're going to listen, feel into the place in your body where you feel the most sensation. The most sensation. And for many of you, this is the heart. It might also be the solar plexus, but any place is fine. Just the place where you're feeling the most sensation. And you're going to use your ring finger and your middle finger. And you're going to tap really gently on that part. And we're going to do a release statement. I now release any and all places and spaces in my physical and energy body, in my cells, soul, and DNA, and across my multidimensional field, all of my timelines, where I've accidentally been running the old human programs of limitation, lack, suffering. I release all old, outdated human programs now. I no longer have to learn through this. Good, keep tapping. It's safe for me now. Finally safe for me now to live as a multi-dimensional being of light. It's safe for me now. Finally safe for me now to run the heaven on earth frequency. It's safe for me now. Finally safe for me now to trust in to my gifts, to trust in to my talents, to fully activate my divine remembrance. And just notice any shifts in your body that want to happen at this time. You might be feeling a lot of tingles in the lower half of your body. Good, and we're just going to come up right to the top of the head. And you can tap or just imagine, I now command and activate that I am a divine, multi-dimensional being of light. I now command and fully activate all of my multi-dimensional gifts and skills and talents. And what we're doing here is we're opening up that intron potential within your DNA. We're activating it. We're signaling to your body that yes, you can do it differently. Yes, you can have more access to your skills, your gifts, your talents. One more, I now command and fully activate my telepathy, my instantaneous healing gifts, my infinite access to infinite abundance. Take a nice deep breath. Try to bring your shoulders a little down and back, allowing that solar plexus heart axis to open up and tapping right there on your heart solar plexus axis, right sort of before your rib cage ends. And just say, it's safe for me now. Finally safe for me now to live as a divine being, abundant being, love-filled being. And it's safe now for my reality to reflect it. Just notice how you feel in your body, reminding yourself that you can always come here and update the codes that you're running. In fact, that's your job right now, to update the programs that we're doing as humanity. So put a hand on your heart and one on your belly and just give so much gratitude for your presence. Reminding the physical body that your presence helps everything to shift. Who you be in the moment is literally jumping timelines, shifting things. Giving yourself so much gratitude for all that you've been through, all that you're doing, all that you're being, and sending yourself a blast of love, gratitude, forgiveness. And just taking all the time you need coming back with your DNA upgrade.
Thank you so much for that experience. It was so soothing, and I felt a lot of energy moving from here down here.
Great. Yes. Beautiful. Because that's really where we want to be, is in the fifth dimensional portal of our heart, the present moment, and cultivating those moments. I once had a teacher that said, just imagine each present moment is like a little diamond on a necklace. And the goal is to have like a necklace filled with diamonds of present moments throughout the day.
Oh, that is beautiful. That's a beautiful image of how to, I guess, embody that. Well, I would love to, I guess, end our beautiful conversation with your free gift for the audience, and also your any upcoming or current offers that you're sharing.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, you guys can check out. We have the Raise Your Vibration Toolkit. So it's just at raiseyourvibrationtoolkit.com. And I noticed it's 11:11 here exactly when I say that. That's so fun. So that's a great way for us to stay connected, and some really cool tools like the command statements that I used in this activation today. Command statements are so powerful because you guys know, you have a Mac, you hit command on your computer and it does what you say. So your body's the same thing. If you hit command on your body, it does what you say. So you can command your body into doing all sorts of great things. So yeah, you can check that out. And then in terms of upcoming events, our academy only launches twice a year. So the next cohort will be in March of next year, but definitely, it's one of those programs that we do. We teach psychic development and skills activation. So we teach you how to be amazing, incredible healers, and basically holding a frequency where reality shifts. And ultimately, I think that's the nature of it. Like, it's what every spiritual master has ever had. They held a frequency so strong that reality would shift in their presence and they could instantaneously manifest. So that's what we teach, but it's what everybody's capable of. So yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Alyssa, for being on this podcast with us today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and connecting and being present with us. And I'm so excited to see you guys again in the next episode. Thank you.